It would be probably the best place I've ever lived.
The river, the buildings in town are beautiful. There's lots of great places to go for day trips, and people are really friendly, and it's a beautiful little town, and we love it.
We love Bingara!
We were looking for some place that we could locate, where we didn't have problems with fire, where we didn't have problems with flood, but where we had water. And that eliminated most places straight away.
I grew up in Bingara, and as a child there wasn't a day that went past that we didn't visit the river, either swimming in the river or climbing in the trees on the riverbank. I've really seen how important the Gwydir River is to the Bingara community.
But the river seems to attract everyone mainly. I think the river's our main dragging people to town, I think. So,
I have an intergenerational connection with the river. I absolutely adore the town. I'm passionate about the river. I'm passionate about the wildlife. I'm passionate about the environment here. It's home.
I guess one of the main issues is cold water pollution. It not only affects bird life and fish species, but also recreational activities. Even in the really hot summer months, it's really quite cold in the river, so that really deters a lot of people from fully utilising the river.
Well, look at the river here today. It's been so hot today, and if you hop in there and go for a swim, you'll end up with hypothermia.
The water release from Copeton Dam is from deep, and as a result, when lots of water are released in that period of time in spring through to early summer, the river gets very cold.
In summer, you have a thermocline develop in the dam, and so it stops the dam mixing basically. And what you see there is that the top of the dam gets quite warm and the bottom of the dam gets freezing cold, as low as 10 degrees.
Well, cold water pollution is a problem because it interferes with the natural cycle of the river. The vegetation changed, the river silted up, the clarity of the water is gone, the temperature of the water is too cold, the so-called environmental flows are released at a time of the year when the Murray cod and yellow belly are spawning, and it's been absolutely critical for them, and they just can't cope with those facilities.
Decline of species, local species of wildlife. I've definitely seen it in my lifetime here. We used to have black swans that were prevalent. Those species are slowly disappearing, and I really do think it's the impact of cold water pollution.
Fish are impacted by cold water pollution because it affects their metabolism. Cold water just slows them down. They can't get the food they need to grow.
we're only 45 kilometres from the dam wall, Copeton wall. They let water out, and that's okay. It was put there for irrigation, but it's cold water, and we're copping the cold water side of it. Like at the moment, this time of year it's breeding time for fish. The fish need between 20 and 24 degrees to breed, and the water drops to about 15. And that's why the hatchery was put here about 40 years ago.
I think if they could remediate the problem with the cold water pollution at Copeton, that it would be a boom for the district and for the town.
One of the options available to us was a thermal curtain at Burrendong Dam. That was trialled over the last few years. And while it's effective when it's operating, water quality within the dam prevents it being used all the time. So what we're seeing there is if blue-green algae started to become a problem in the dam, the thermal curtain needed to be dropped down to allow the water quality to improve rather than maintain the temperature. In other locations, draft mixing tube has been used with effectively a giant ceiling fan in the water that forces the water down into the water column below it and breaks that thermocline, mixes things up. They're all useful solutions, but they don't always work. One of the things that has been used to great effect overseas is the use of bubble plumes. So in those scenarios, we're seeing large air compressors being set up and forcing air to the bottom of the dam, which is released through an air tube. Those bubbles rise up back through the water column, bringing water with it and create a current, breaking the thermocline and mixing the water throughout the whole water column. What you see there is a great improvement, not only in the temperature profile of the water downstream, but you also see an improvement in water quality within the dam. You don't get as many, if any at all, algal blooms, and therefore you see an improvement in water quality in the dam, and the downstream water quality goes up as well. So it's just a matter of implementing these. There's a cost associated with any of this sort of infrastructure, but with the right attitude, I believe it can be addressed.
The sooner we can address the cold water pollution, the better it will be for the town.
I'd just like to see something happen up the dam. Yeah, do what they have to do up there to fix the river. Like it's fish aren't breeding, carp are thriving. Yeah, everything's just sort of backwards at the moment. It'd be good if that thing up the top got fixed, that problem, then other problems probably would get fixed a lot easier, I think.
We'd like to see the cold water pollution problem solved, and the eradication of European carp would be fantastic. It'll get the river back to its natural state, you know, and then if the fish don't breed in it, well, that's their own fault. I once seen this old fella here catch a cod, and the photo weighed 20 pounds.
So Bingara, lovely place, and there's people there love their river, they love their fish. Part of the reason that we're talking about this and we're talking about cold water pollution is it has a huge impact on fish. We love the fact that people love their fish and want to do something about it. We're there to help.